here. I'm going to show a couple of demonstrations. And this was actually, I think this was first filmed in like about 1991, and then we edited it, I think, in 95. So the filming is not very good, but I think it demonstrates some nice elements of how the archetypal dimension in healing trauma. And this is a man who spent his infancy and childhood in a Japanese concentration camp in Java. And I was teaching a class in Berkeley, and I asked for a volunteer who had a relatively specific, circumscribed recent trauma to work on. And he came up, and I knew as soon as he was coming up that that's not where we're going to go. So you'll see the session begins. By the way, pendulation is a term that we use, and it's about when the person is in a compressed, constricted state. That's also part of trauma. But as they're able to experience that and touch into it, it then expands. It contracts and then it expands. It contracts and then it expands, each time liberating more and more of this free instinctual energy. So I'm afraid it's not a very good. Is there, you know, any time that you remember a relatively specific thing where you felt overwhelmed or traumatized?
Yeah, I can briefly say something about it. I was in a Japanese concentration camp in Java, and my family, women, were under tremendous stress.
So you see, his body is already telling a little bit of this story, but through the voluntary system.
I felt that I, as a little boy, got the whole family on me.
Okay, well, that's not exactly a specific isolated thing, but we'll work with that a little bit. Are you Dutch?
I'm Dutch.
So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to just go inside.
Close eyes.
Now, by the way, usually I would not have a person do this right away, but we'd already done a series of exercises to help people get, you know, tools in body awareness and grounding and centering and so forth. But definitely you don't want to just have a traumatized person close their eyes. Close eyes, or open whenever you're comfortable. Maybe I'll take your glasses. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, I think we'll set it for you.
So just notice, just notice and report what you're experiencing.
I feel a little bit anxious feeling in my chest.
And you feel an anxious feeling. And what is that feeling like? How would you describe that feeling?
I feel it here. It's very hard to describe this.
Take your time, it's okay. And I notice his fingers shaking and trembling a little.
Yeah, I feel a little bit shaky too, yeah.
A little shaky. You feel like that's, and I notice you move your feet a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's good. It's like you were kind of checking your own ground, maybe.
All right.
Good.
It's a sort of heavy feeling.
A heavy feeling?
Yeah, it's like if I inhibit it.
He says, I can't move, I feel paralyzed, he says. That's the immobility response, right?
If I cannot move, the anxiety. But I think the color is black, and
So he has a visual image of black. That's the trauma vortex. Often shows as black. But again, it's the disconnection between the two vortices that's the issue for therapeutic movement.
It's holding me back, yeah.
Okay, it's a black color.
Yeah.
And it's a heavy feeling.
Yeah, it's a heavy feeling on my chest, yeah.
It's a heavy feeling on your chest. Okay, let's just do that one example that I mentioned before. As you look at that black color, and without even thinking about it, or trying to make even sense of the question, it could be anything, because it could be anything. It could be a waterfall, it could be a watermelon, it could be a house, a meadow, it could be anything. What's the opposite of this blackness? And again, this is looking for the spontaneous image. So first he gives an image which clearly isn't a spontaneous image.
In in terms of color?
Whatever. Look at the black and just ask the opposite. Ask
It would be a bird that's flying.
a bird.
Okay, so we have the black hole on one side, we have the bird that flies. And you'll see he's able to describe the color of the bird, so he's really seeing it. The image is alive, it's embodied, it's eidetic.
Fine. Okay, I want you just to look at that bird for a moment.
A bird that flies.
You see that, right?
Yeah, right, I see that.
Okay, what color is it?
It's whitish blue, but mainly white.
Gotcha. Okay, now looking at the bird, in just kind of in a curious way, and as you look at the bird and notice its shape, its color, its size,
now notice the movement
whatever
here.
it's doing, moving or standing, feet.
As soon as he gets that other image, his body starts to move. This is an inner movement. This is not a voluntary movement. This is a movement that's orchestrated at the level of the cerebellum. It's a deep, intrinsic self-experience, non-verbal, non-conscious self-experience.
Eating or flying, whatever. What do you begin to notice in your body right now as you continue to feel that gentle rocking movement?
Yeah, I feel that gentle rocking movement, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like rocking.
You feel like rocking, exactly. And how does that feel? Is that a pleasant feeling?
It's a very pleasant feeling.
Okay,
So there we've gone from, again, the black hole to a pleasant feeling.
there's an example, right? We can move between the two vortexes very easily. And then we'll just follow for a while and see what happens next. Now that the rhythm has gotten started. So just continue to notice and report. Ron, you're doing just fine.
I still feel that happy feeling on my chest, but it's maybe not so happy.
And it's not so heavy.
So you see, by holding those two polarities, the anxiety now is reduced. The distress is reduced.
And do you feel the rocking at the same time?
Yeah, the rocking is sort of soothing.
It's soothing.
Yes.
It's soothing. So just...
I feel very sort of nervous, I don't know, sort of shaky.
And you feel shaky.
Yeah.
And the shakiness is this energy starting to discharge, this bound energy.
When you feel shaky, where do you feel the shakiness most?
In my hands.
In your hands,
Right.
and you feel it in your hands.
Right.
So just feeling that, you don't even have to exaggerate it, but just allow, that's right, just to feel it from inside. And take your time.
Yeah, it's shaking a little bit from inside. Every of it is extremely vulnerable.
You feel vulnerable?
Yeah, like I'm a very vulnerable state.
Very vulnerable. Could you say some other synonyms, some synonym for vulnerable? What would be some other words?
So this is again working from the meaning side, from the top down, from the cortex down.
Shaky, open, undefended.
Undefended. Okay, interesting.
Easily to hurt. Yeah.
And easily to hurt.
Easily to hurt, yeah.
And also open. And also shaky.
Right.
So that's right. That's it. So there's that breath, right? There's a cycle, first the shakiness, and then there's a breath, just as you saw with the polar bear. Taking your time.
I wasn't even aware I took the breath. I feel sort of, the shaking feels, the rocking feels very good to me. I think I never have done it before.
He says the rocking feels good. I think I've never done it before. Of course, this speaks to the developmental lack of holding course, in a concentration camp. And probably also a lot of if he would ever cry, they would, of course, try do anything to stop that, probably to suffocate the baby. It's very common what's done in concentration camps. But what he's doing is he's getting, which is really wonderful, if you think about it, that developmental need from 65 years ago is now emerging from the body unconscious. the solution is beginning to be found through his contact with the body unconscious.
Wow, that's marvelous. It is a beautiful movement. It's really nice. And feel it all the way into your spine. That's right.
Another breath.
And again, that other breath as there's getting more discharge.
I feel really shaky in my hands. I don't know, do I do the walking, but I still do the walking.
You do whatever you like, whatever you feel like. That feels good, just allow that to be there. If it feels centering or grounding or whatever.
It feels like it's holding what I feel.
Now that's unbelievable. Right? And that is the body unconscious. It's giving him that restorative experience to let him move forward in life.
Like holding what you feel.
Right. I feel very shaky in my chest too now.
And now you
Shakiness
feel
is
shaky
spreading
in your
through his
chest.
whole body. Now, at the beginning, he would have been completely overwhelmed by this. But now, by integrating these energy-bound polarities, he's now starting to be able to release more and more of that energy experience.
That's right.
I'm shaky in my hands.
That's
I
right.
feel shaky all over, I think.
Okay. You feel shaky all over.
All right, I'm very independent then.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to say a sentence, and I'm going to ask you just to say the words, again, not to try to understand them, but just to say them and to notice what the reaction is in your body. They're my words, they're not your words, so they could be complete nonsense. But would that be okay to do it?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to feel the shaking, and I want you to say the sentence, I'm alive.
Yeah, I feel I'm alive.
And what happens when you say those words, Ron? When you say the words, I'm alive?
Well, I feel like moving.
You feel like moving.
That's why I move my hands, yeah.
Moving like what? Moving in what way?
My hands. I don't know if I feel more alive when I say the words than before I said the words.
But you were feeling the...
Kind of a growing up to the 2-year-old contrarianness, don't tell me what to do, which is great, because he's now, gone from a baby to a toddler.
But I just asked to notice what happens.
Yeah, I feel that I need to move my hands.
You need to move your hands.
Right. Yeah, I said I need to move my hands. It's like flying.
Feel it. Feel it. Like the bird. See the bird. That's it. And maybe slow them if you want a little bit.
What I can see now is he's not allowing the spontaneous. He's overriding the spontaneous. So I guess a little bit, it's okay, just easy, just let it be. Right.
That's it. That's it. There you go.
And there you see the discharge of this energy state.
That's right. That's it.
I feel I'm like flying through the air, yeah.
Like flying through the air. Yeah, that's nice.
And the hands are shaking, yeah.
I'm going to see if he can regulate himself, because I don't want him to get too much into the counter vortex, because again, that can cause as much of a problem as going into the trauma vortex.
That's it. Ease.
I get a little dizzy in my head.
I know. A little dizzy. So just stay with that for a moment. Just hang with that. And feel the trembling in your legs.
Right. I can feel trembling in my legs.
Yeah, they're really trembling, huh?
Right.
And that's what you're seeing there is that's the fight or flight response, but it's in a transformative function. It's not just
Once
the
more, I'm just going
instinct
to
like
ask you to
you
say the
said.
sentence and just notice what happens. I'm alive.
I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I feel like to get some air.
You get more air.
Yeah.
You see he's now starting to gasp for air. So something else is happening.
Easy, 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 easy. It's okay.
I feel like shaking it off.
What if you just allow it to be there instead of shaking it off? Just allowing it to shake from the inside. Just for a moment, just as an experiment. That's it. There you go. That's right. And in the jaw, do you feel it starting to tremble in the mouth and the jaw?
No, I don't feel that.
Okay. Yeah, very slowly closing and opening your jaw, almost like you're a goldfish or a guppy, or like you're chewing on air or cotton. That's it, softly. That's it. There you go. There. That's it. Easy. 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 Excellent. That's good.
Gasping for air.
It feels like gasping for air, right?
Right.
You know, I have some ideas of what might be going on, but notice I'm not getting it.
So again, what we're seeing probably is a procedural memory, an implicit procedural memory of, being suffocated to stop his crying. We don't know that for sure, but, you start being able to put together a picture.
Involved in any particular way, except continuing this process, at least at this point.
Feel quiet.
Quiet? Mm-hmm. Yes, you feel quiet.
Right, you feel quiet.
Quiet, yeah. Quiet, still.
Mm-hmm.
This deep calm, which is really where we expect all sessions to wind up.
There's a little bit inner shaking going on.
A little bit of inner shaking.
Right.
Yeah. A quieter inner shaking.
Right. Not so heavy as it was before.
Yeah. Yeah. More like a humming shaking.
Right. Softer.
Softer.
I feel like I opened my eyes.
I noticed. Yeah, just look around a little bit as you like, even without your glasses.
I feel I'm here.
Yeah, how does that feel to be here?
Feels alive. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. I just want you to take a little bit more time to kind of look around a little bit.
It feels very new, as I'm not accustomed to it. It's very vulnerable.
Yeah. And again, some synonyms for vulnerable right now, what the synonyms might be.
I feel I can be easily hurt.
Easily hurt by
Other people.
And in what way?
So we're now working with the meaning, the M of the sideband. So we're starting to now be able to explore some of his belief systems that came from that early concentration camp experience.
How might they hurt you?
Saying harsh things to me.
Harsh things.
Bad things about me.
Mm.
So they could say harsh things to him. They could hurt him by saying harsh things.
Would you be willing to do a little experiment? To simply look around a little bit and just to say that sentence to either some people in general or one person in particular. I'm afraid that in this vulnerable situation you'll say something harsh to me. So you say that, yeah. Take your time. Take your time.
I am afraid that in this vulnerable situation I can be easily hurt.
I'm afraid that you'll do something to hurt me. Yeah.
Feel sort of sadness coming.
Yeah, feel it. Feel it. It's okay. It's a feeling.
That's for the A category.
Just because.
I think it's a big leap forward to say that.
Big leap.
That's right. That's right.
That's a big, it's right, because it's a big leap forward. Yep.
I feel that as I'm sitting here, I'm so vulnerable that some way it can hurt me.
Can hurt me.
And that's painful.
Somebody could hurt him.
To this with that. I have a hard time to be with that vulnerability. That is very hard for me. Or I would say I'd rather be not so vulnerable.
But you are. I want you to look again, just make some contact with maybe one or two of people, just, look directly at them a little bit.
This, of course, is the social engagement system, which is, again, part of the regulatory process.
If you need your glasses.
Yeah, I need my glasses here. See better.
This might be a time.
I feel that the people are very attentive and considerate.
Look at them again. Just continue to look. Look until your eyes want to go to someone else.
Feels a little bit shaky, but feels okay.
Yeah. Feel okay.
Yeah,
and shaky.
And shaky.
Yeah.
I think it's a shaky experience.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a new experience.
Right.
It's a new experience, and you don't quite know what to expect. Because part in your mind, you're expecting something.
That as soon as I open, say will hit me.
Something right.
Okay. So as soon as I open, they will hit me. So harsh, hurt, hit. So we're looking, of course, at the linguistic pattern here.
Right.
Do you think maybe it has something to do with what you were talking about at the beginning?
Okay, now I take more the analyst's position, and we talk about this. Do you think it had something to do with what you talked about at the beginning of the session?
So, yeah, because opening up in that situation would be not good.
Right. Of course not.
Right, it would be very bad.
Would be very bad. Yeah, of course, and that you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah,
you had to shut down. You had to close down. And you believed that being open was a bad thing because it was bad at that time. It was dangerous.
Right. And still in society, you don't know when you can be open and when you cannot
You
be.
don't.
Right.
You don't. But you're not expecting necessarily that everybody's going to hurt you.
Right.
So again, we work with the meaning part, dissecting it, playing with it, looking how it plays out in the present.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm finished.
Unless there's something else you want to say about the situation.
I feel it was very important the work we did, and I'm very glad for your assistance. And
I want to say here, I mean, obviously there's more therapy work that could be done and transference work and so forth. But I think at this point it's really optimal that he sees me as his assistant and that I'm helping him empower his own capacity for self-regulation.
I think it points to really important issues I'm dealing with, the heaviness and wanting to fly and not being able to fly.
See the bird.
Right.
Look at the bird. Look at the bird.
I think one of the homes and there's always birds in there.
Look at the bird right now. Look at the bird.
The birth is lightness, is happiness, is openness.
Yeah. Do you feel that?
I feel that. It's a new option to life.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So, again, we're weaving many different levels of experience and moving through this arc of integrating both the energies and the different archetypal experiences. And again, you can just imagine what was likely to happen, that, that he was hurt, that he was hit, right, to stop him crying, and probably was suffocated. So again, we work through the procedural memories first, and then move up to the affective, and then to the more episodic and autobiographical types of memory work. And that's a general pattern that you see in working with trauma. The key is in understanding the central importance of working first with the procedural memories. That's, and when you're introducing my book, that's a lot of what the book is about how you really access procedural memories and how you work with them in the therapeutic process. Yeah. So, if there are, I'll take maybe if there are one or two questions, I will take those questions. Right over there, the lady in coral. Hold on a minute.
I'm curious as to when the vagus nerve begins to form during
the myelinated vagus.
Well, yes, during the prenatal phase.
The unmyelinated is prenatal.
Is that reptilian, in the reptilian?
No, that's the one that goes way, way, way back.
Okay.
That's the primitive vagus, the unmyelinated vagus. The myelinated vagus starts to develop in the months after birth, probably particularly around the 6 months. Yeah. We have two over there, two for the price of.
This seems like it would be a really good therapy with attachment disorders.
This therapy would work with attachment disorder? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, a number of my students do a lot of attachment work, and they also teach using this to apply specifically to attachment work. Attachment work, as you can imagine, is more complicated. You kind of have to weave things out in terms of the relationship. But the basic principles are really the same, or very similar, I should say.
I noticed that the gentleman did not cry.
Did not cry?
Did not cry. And I wondered while I was watching it, what you would do if you had someone who began to cry in that process. How would you integrate the tears or the emotion that came with that?
Well, actually, there were tears. There were tears, yeah. And sometimes those feelings are just very soft and they're not dramatic at all. If a person starts crying, I just hold the space for it. If I see that the crying is just kind of like they're just getting stuck in it, then I'll usually do something to kind of help bring them back and to soften it. But he was definitely crying. Sometimes the deepest cry is one tear going down the cheek.
Oh, it was very moving. I was crying, so I was surprised.
Right. Okay. So I'm wondering if we should take like a 5-minute break and stretch. What's